this is a question I get a lot from customers and people interested is, yeah, but how do I actually set up my project, in the Helix Core side, aside from the networking part? And so I always love getting to share concrete examples like this. So can you talk us through this? It might feel a little overwhelming at first, but if you can kind of break it down, I think it's actually not as intense as it looks.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the, and personally, I want to just mention, I love like that in every webinar you do that with all the different studios, and me and my DevOps team, we constantly like looking and comparing ourselves, like what other people do better or what we can like have like smarter solutions. So
I
please
love
keep
it.
doing it further.
Awesome.
Um, but from our side, I think one of our main philosophies is we have uh, purpose-specific depots. For us, like initially, even like because we started as a service provider company, so for us, the security, access management, and kind of like overall control of the project consistency and ability to archive it, ability to basically back it up in different location or replicate in different location was important. And when we started going more into media entertainment industry and started consulting the various animation studios, VFX houses, they had exactly the same problem. So we focus on kind of here like a create that I'm showing like our template, which we generally replicate to our clients. And some of the main thing I want to mention, it's we have separate depot for the engine, which allows you to then like have different versions. You have the ability to modify it. Out of there, we have release stream flow, which is like embedded with our like CI/CD for automated like build, unit test, QA, etc. And under it, we just go into like engine specific substreams for the for each feature whenever like we need to do a modification or like do a custom code on it. From We have separate depot for plugins, which allows us again to manage our tool stack depending on the project or project type as well. So we have like a base of plugins which we utilize for like for VAD or for the like animation side, but then we have a fully separate tool stack which we use for game development. And generally, it allows us to manage it and kind of like import them into needed project.
So
Um,
could I real quick, just to help people follow along with this, to just kind of illustrate here that we have, like, this is one depot, right? Like, it's a little confusing because we're trying to fit them all on the screen at once. But like, that's that engine depot you mentioned. And then this plugins is its own separate depot as well,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then over here, these are your templates you were talking about.
yeah,
These are two different depots, I assume, for your
yeah,
different types of templates that you
yeah,
have. And then this actual project you're working on is this part here.
yeah,
Got it. So
correct.
just so people can kind of get a sense of, like, each of these is its own separate depot with its separate streams in it. So each individual one doesn't have a really crazy stream graph. It's just we're
Yeah,
just kind of showing them all on one screen here. And the same with these assets over here, right?
yeah,
That this its own thing.
exactly. And what it's allows us to do, it's to eliminate also like the data bloating and kind of like improve just general like logistics and organizations. Because oftentimes again, it's like if you, for example, have your project template, out of them you create the stream like the streams, then you have the like when you have like a year we go through like 40-50 projects, so now you have like a crazy stream graph with like everything under it. But also a stream, it's technically copying the data on disk, is becoming a copy of the data. And we that's why we use an import like for the files to avoid the data bloating. And for the assets, I want to mention one thing that we do a lot of asset reuse across the projects, and that's why we have a separate depot which kind of we separate into virtual streams, like onto the different asset types or different like packs which we purchased, for example, or we reused, we archived from another project. Let's say like it would be like in cartoony art style or realistic art style, etc., which we store there. Now artists can access at any time to copy them into the projects that they're working on.
I wanted to add to that. We can't share like the exact specific stream graph that PI and Zebu used on this project, which is why we're showing this. But in general, the philosophy is very much the same between this and the way we set it up for them.
Got it. And then, yeah, I like this note here about your tips for streams in the top right is great. I'm always looking for good short ways to summarize tips for thinking about setting up streams. So yeah, this idea of when possible using a virtual stream just to limit the view rather than fully branching and making something that you're going to have to do more maintenance and merging and copying and all of that. And then this idea of kind of separating things by purpose in the depots is a cool philosophy that you guys have really shown nicely here, I think, of kind of showing how these can be separate and how each one might be archived separate from the others. I think that's kind of a useful way to think about it, of like, yeah, this project might end up being archived, but we might still be using what we developed in the engine, or we're still going to use our templates, or we're still going to use these assets, or maybe we archive this engine and we do something else, to kind of think about which parts could kind of be removed and swapped back out as a way to determine which ones should be separate depots.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the main parts as well on that you also have the CI/CD pipeline which is running on top of it, like a lot of your like plugin and like your plugin engineering and your engine engineering. So you have like separate automations which go on it, and you have various tooling which rides on top of the your, for example, like asset production, or like your like game dev side, which can utilize the automations provided by Helix Core. So we try and to use as much as possible kind of like automations built in Helix Core for our like management. So like we're trying here, like for example, like import side, like copy, etc., share, etc. But we also have a separate layer of our tooling, which kind of we call it like a task manager. But basically under it, it has one of the kind of modified version of UGS as well, which allows you on the artist artist or like developers workstation quickly pull and latest version of all of your plugins and the engine. Make sure that it's all up to date.
Awesome. So yeah, when we were preparing for this, Ikar sent me this stream graph. He's like, do you think this would be useful to people? I was like, yes, like this is the audience for the technical details. You're the people here at this webinar who are not afraid of this. So I'm really excited we get to show it. And speaking of getting into the details, we are now going to zoom in on one particular part of this pipeline, which is your shot lighting workflow, and kind of get into more of the details of how you actually implemented this and put this together.